Economics for Form 1. Economics for Form 1, we're looking at supply. This is lesson 9. Now, just take a look at supply. It's represented by a supply curve here, which responds to what everybody knows about supply. That when there is a rise in price, there's also a rise in supply, and there's a drop in price, there's a drop in supply, everything being equal. So supply simply means how much one or more firms will be willing to supply at particular prices under existing circumstances. So as we said, when you are supplying, the prices affect supply and other circumstances. So supply therefore involves how much, at what price, and under what conditions. How much, at what price, and under what conditions. I'm sure that if you are a supplier, these are the things that you always consider. So the factors affecting supply, these factors will induce a rise or a fall in supply. These factors will induce a rise or a fall in supply, and they are what? The own price, that is the price of the good itself that is being supplied. A rise or a fall in the price of the good will affect supply. This is what we have seen here. If the price rises, supply will rise. You want to supply more because you are getting a higher price for it. If it drops, supply will drop. Now, we have the next factor which affects supply, which is a change in the price of related goods. A change in the price of related goods will affect supply. You see, and related goods are what? Perhaps the materials that are used in producing that good. A rise in the price of leather, for example, can affect the supply of shoes, because if leather is expensive, the shoe producer may decide not to produce shoes or to produce less. A rise in the price of corn and barley and hops might scare beer producers from producing much, because they will have to sell expensively and perhaps people will not be able to buy. So you see the factors that affect a change in the price of the commodity itself, or a change in the price of a related good to that commodity. Then we look at other factors that affect it. We have the conditions of production. We looked at machines the other time. An advance in technology can enable a supplier to supply more. So because we are still looking at factors that affect supply. We are looking at factors that affect supply. So the conditions of production can make supply to increase. That's advance in technology, good weather conditions, political strife could reduce supply if there is too much political strife. Good soils can increase supply. And these are aspects that can have an effect on supply. Another thing that can have an effect on supply could be expectations. If we are expecting a future hike in prices, we might decide to reduce supply and keep our goods to sell them when the prices will go up. You understand? So, but if we think that inflation is looming, we might decide to lower our price or increase our price. It all depends. Possible forecasted disasters. If we see that there is a disaster that has been forecasted, we might decide to sell off our things even at a lower rate, so that before the disaster comes, we have sold off everything. So the current price is still affected, and the current supply is affected by all these things. If we have news that there's a future hike in price, possibility of prices going up, we might supply less and keep everything what we have to supply in the future. And so we have all these possibilities. Then another thing that affects supplies too is the number of suppliers of the same product or similar products. So you may have, we are producing palm oil, and suddenly we find about 2 or 3 other people coming into the palm oil production. We have to compete with them. It rises competition, so we may have to get our supply in order to cope. So these are all aspects that affect supply. Again, we have government policies and interventions. You know, if a government has a strong tax policy, it may deter, it may discourage large-scale production. If they have encouraging tax policies, supplies may go up because the suppliers will think that they are favored. There are other government policies and interventions, like if the government protects the local industries, then the supply will go up. So we have all these type of things that can affect supply. So even the government can step in to affect supply. So we have seen all these various aspects that affect supply. They make it to increase or decrease. Now, elasticity does not come in only in terms of demand. Elasticity comes in terms of supply at the level of price, and elasticity brings out or measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in price. So here we're looking at the quantity supplied to changes in price. So the supply schedule, as we saw with the demand schedule, is simply a table. It's a table that brings out supply items, their quantity, and their prices. So that is the supply schedule, from which we come out with a supply curve. And we can see that the supply curve is opposite to the demand curve. It goes in a different direction. If we look at the price and the quantity supplied, we will see that the more you supply, the more the price goes up, the more suppliers are prepared to supply. And the more it goes down, the less are they prepared to supply. So that is what we have for supply. So read again Harvey Elementary Economics for your future further reading. Thank you.